Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Always Undeniable. I'm your host, Sanaa Collins, and I'm back here today with another installment of the podcast episodes. Before we get into it, make sure y'all tap in with last week's episode. It was the 10 biggest lessons I've learned in my life so far. Make sure you tap in with everything else, Always Undeniable. And yeah, I'm not going to waste any more of your time with the intro. We're going to get right into the episode. Now, this week, I thought it was very important to kind of piggyback off of last week's episode where I talked about the 10 biggest lessons I've learned in my life and bring up something that is very crucial in my life, which is mindset. Now, there are a lot of people who have a good grasp on mindset, and there's a lot of people who don't have a good grasp on mindset. And with that in mind, I thought a great place to start would be to talk about an overview on mindset. So with that in mind, let's get right into it. Your mindset is a powerful thing. If you follow me on social media, you know earlier this week I said mindset is either your best friend or your biggest enemy, and that is one of the truest things I've ever said. It's just one of the realest things about life. If you have a positive mindset, you can do anything you want to do. You can achieve the things you want to do. You can set any goal and find a way to get there. But if you have a negative mindset, you live in a shell. You move backwards. You take a step forward and then you take 8 steps back. It's a negative pattern over and over again, whether it's based on fear, based on past experience, whatever. Negative mindset at the end of the day is not going to get you where you want to go. I've seen in my own life the difference between having a positive mindset and having a negative mindset. Having a negative mindset drove me to a place that I've never been before and that I never want to return. A positive mindset took me out of that place and took me levels and levels beyond where I thought I could ever be. Truth be told, I never thought up until about a year or two ago that there was ever going to be a time where I was sitting in front of a camera every single day talking about my life, talking about my experiences, talking about things like mindset or decision making or relationships or lessons, anything like that. There was a point in my time where everything was just so dark and unclear and clouded by anything else that was going on because my mindset wasn't right. And because my mindset wasn't right, everything else in my life wasn't right. It's so important to protect your mindset, to protect your identity, protect who you are, and to know who you are. Because when you don't, things go very bad very fast. I genuinely feel like your mindset is one of the key components of whether or not you succeed or you fail in life. And there's definitely more to it as well. Like, you have to take action, you have to be positive, you have to believe in what you're doing. But I feel like that all starts with mindset. When your mindset isn't right, nothing else is gonna be right, as I just said. And one of the key factors in protecting my mindset that I found over time is having the ability to know that yes, failure is possible, but it doesn't mean it has to be the end. And being able to reframe that came with a lot of time, a lot of working on myself, and a lot of effort in wanting to better myself. Because what I've learned in my life is just because you fail at something doesn't mean it's the end. It's something to learn from, for sure. And that all goes back to mindset. Having that type of thought process directly relates to the type of mindset you have. Let's say, for example, you put me in a room with somebody with a negative mindset. The person with a negative mindset, as well as myself, could fail at the same thing, right? But the person with the negative mindset might see that failure and use that as an excuse to never try again. Whereas with me, I might see that failure and try to find 10 other ways that I can figure it out. And that's the difference between not only a positive mindset, but a negative mindset, but a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. When you have a fixed mindset, you see failure, you run away from failure. Or you see failure and you give up. Growth mindset, you see failure and you think of 1,000 other ways that you can approach that failure to finally succeed. Too many people in society, and I say that phrase a lot because it's very true, a lot of people in our society are sheep and are wired the same way. And with that being said, there's less optimism in the world, and there's not as much optimism as there should be, at least in my opinion. There's so much good that we all can do, not just in general, but for ourselves, that people don't do. And something as simple as being mindful makes a big difference. One of the most important factors I've learned about mindset is how much it shapes your reality. I don't think too many people are aware of that. What you put into this world is exactly what you get back, and that all stems from your mind. If you're feeding yourself positive thoughts all the time, you're going to be met with positivity. Optimism and positivity is the way to go in life. If you're feeding yourself negative thoughts and you're telling yourself this thing's gonna go bad, or you're not good at this, or this, that, and the third, you're going to fail. Regardless of what it is. If you believe that enough, you are going to fail. Whatever you feed your brain is exactly what comes back to you. So in any given situation, no matter what's happening, try to put your most positive thoughts and most positive feelings, most positive energy toward whatever that thing is, because that's going to make the difference between succeeding and seeing positivity and failing and feeding into negativity. I know it's hard to stay positive and to stay optimistic, especially when times get rough, but confidence and belief and positivity isn't built when things are easy. It's built when you're going through the hardest times of your life. It's when you build that resilience that your mentality gets stronger, your thoughts are able to become positive, and you're able to move forward in your life. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to go through something negative to get to a point of positivity, but I have noticed a common theme amongst not only myself but other people I see and I follow, that they had to go through something first to get to where they are. And maybe that is the case for most people. I know for me, I had to go through what I went through. I believe I had to go through what I went through, because at the end of the day, who really knows? But I had to go through what I went through to get to where I am now. Without those experiences, without hitting rock bottom, without feeling the way I felt about my life and myself, I would not be here in this moment talking to you. And I think that's such a powerful thing, and it's such a real part of my story that, yes, I've shared multiple times now. You've probably heard it over and over again, but it's such an important piece of my story and who I am and where I'm going and who I'm going to end up being. I try to reiterate it as much as I can because I'm so grateful for the journey. And again, that goes back to the mindset, because before, when I was younger, when I was going through it, and right after I went through it, my mentality was, why me? Why did that have to happen? Why couldn't that be anyone else? Why? And wasting my time and my energy with those types of thoughts was holding me back from my full potential and taking a step forward. Instead of taking a step forward, I was staying in the same place, or even taking a step back at some points. So once I was able to flip my mindset by focusing on the right things, focusing on writing down what I'm feeling, focusing on bettering my physical health, focusing on my friends, my family, things that made me happy, that ultimately made the change in my mindset and in the trajectory of my life. Now, I want to go back for a minute, because I feel like keying in and focusing on a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset is such an important thing. And if you were here in season 2, you know I had an episode with a friend of mine. I believe it was, looking at my board here, it was episode 7, season 2, episode 7, where we talked about mindset. The whole episode was based on mindset, having a fixed mindset, having a growth mindset. And I want to go back because it's such an important thing, and it's such a crucial factor in separating people who really do succeed and people who either stay in the same place or fail. Now, individuals with a growth mindset, as I said before, are always going to find a way. They're always going to look for that challenge to help them better their abilities. They're always going to find whatever's next. Even if it is challenging, even if they're unsure that they can solve that thing, they're going to continue to do that thing anyway, or continue to work for that thing. A perfect example is somebody who, and I'm using this because it's irrelevant to my life, but somebody who goes to the gym a lot, right? A big thing for a lot of people is trying to set PRs, trying to reach their max weight. And sometimes you don't do that on the first attempt. You might not even do it on the second attempt, but the third time, the fourth time you max, all of a sudden you're hitting new PRs. And the only reason that person got to that point is because they kept working. They took that failure and they kept working. Somebody with a fixed mindset does the opposite. Maybe they don't hit a PR that first, second, or third time. So instead of continuing to work, they get complacent, they get scared, and they don't believe in themselves. They stop believing that it's possible. And so instead of working toward hitting that PR, they do anything else and make any other excuse to not go for that PR. That's an easy example for somebody that's in the gym. But let's say, for example, you're in school or you're trying to learn something new. Any person who gives 110% into learning something, even beyond failure, and finds a way to succeed, is always going to be 10 steps ahead of the person who gave up once and tried to take a new path or a new shortcut or whatever. Because somebody with a growth mindset has resilience. They've built that mental resilience, and they're able to see failure as a lesson. I said this last week in my episode, failure is not something to be scared of, and failure isn't the end. Failure is the start to another story, the start to another path. And when you're able to reframe failure as that, you're always going to put yourself ahead. You're always going to be able to move forward, and you're always going to be in a better position than somebody who is stuck in their ways and believes that they can't do anything to solve an issue or a problem or whatever. abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. Now, somebody with an abundance mindset believes there's so much to go around. There's enough room to share your ideas. There's enough room to succeed while someone else succeeds, etc. A scarcity mindset's the opposite. Somebody who believes that there isn't enough to go around. If someone else succeeds, they can't succeed. Someone with the abundance mindset has no problem helping out other people, has no problem sharing ideas, collaborating with others, and doing whatever they can to not only build themselves up, but other people up as well. The scarcity mindset tends to be someone who's more focused on themselves, their goals, and their endeavors, which, let's be honest, isn't a bad thing to be focused on yourself, but you also, I feel like, can't really get anywhere in life if you're not willing to work with others. And that's also someone who believes that while someone else may have taken a W, they can also do the same. It might serve as inspiration, and it might also show somebody with that type of mindset what can be possible at the end of the day. Meanwhile, on the other side, as I said before, that person sees someone else won and they think that's it. There's no room for them to win, and that might lead to, let's say, lack of sharing ideas or fear of taking risks, anything like that. So you see, the way mentalities work, they're very one or the other. It's very either based and oriented in positivity or based in negativity. And again, that makes the difference between people who really do succeed and people who don't. The mindset you choose isn't just about what's true per se. It's about what you feed your brain. It's about what you reinforce and what you feed your brain every single day. If you're feeding your brain and reinforcing positivity, you are going to be met with positivity. If you're feeding your brain negativity, negative thoughts, hatred, anything like that, you are going to fail. Plain and simple. If you're leaning scarcity and negativity, you're gonna end up stuck. If you don't, you're gonna end up moving forward. So whatever you wanna do is up to you. That's none of my business, but I'm here to try to help you reach the best level of yourself. The victim mindset versus the owner mindset. What I mean by that is somebody who believes life is happening to them versus somebody who believes life is happening through them or for them. Now, somebody who is in a victim mindset might say something along the lines of, this happened to me, or they did that to me, or whatever. While somebody with the owner mindset might say, this happened for me, or this happened because that happened, and they take ownership of whatever that thing is, and they find steps to move away from whatever that situation was. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I've never been in the victim mindset, because I 100% have. It's easy for everybody to slip into that. When you're feeling overwhelmed at work, or you're frustrated with somebody or a bunch of people, or you're dealing with something that you feel like you shouldn't have to. We all get to that point at one point or another where we say, that happened to me, or why is this happening? Or we look for someone or something to blame other than ourselves. And sometimes that is reality. There is someone else or something else to blame for something happening. But the quicker you can get out of that mindset in that moment, the faster you can recover and just move on to whatever's next. When you stay in that mindset for too long, instead of looking to make moves and move forward, you start looking for someone or something to rescue you, to stop whatever's happening. And at the end of the day, you're your own hero. That's one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned in my life. You're your own hero and you need you. So the quicker you can get out of that victim mindset and get into the owner mindset and own whatever's happening and move on to the next thing, the quicker you can succeed and find improvement in your own life. When you flip this on its head and you talk owner mindset, this is when, as I said before, life is happening through you. You believe life happens through you, and you start asking yourself, what can I control right now? You're not worried about stuff that's out of your control. You're not worried about who to blame or why this happened so much, but you're worried about what's the next step forward? How can I improve and how can I be better? Instead of ignoring or looking for blame on whatever's happening in the victim mindset, you do the opposite. You embrace whatever's happening and you take steps forward to alleviate whatever happened or to get rid of it completely and move on to the next thing. You in the owner mindset take responsibility of whatever that struggle is. By no means am I saying you'll be perfect with this mentality, because at the end of the day, nothing is perfect, but it will take you 5 steps higher at the very least than the person who's stuck in the victim mindset, because that person's staying in the same place. They're not moving while you're improving and always moving forward. A victim might react, they might wait, and they might lose power, while the opposite is true for the owner. The owner's gonna respond. The owner's gonna come back with 5 ways to move forward, and the owner's ultimately gonna reclaim their kingdom. At the end of the day, we can't choose what happens in our lives. That's just a fact. No matter how much we want to, we can't. We do have a choice every single day to show up for ourselves and improve our lives and build off of whatever happened, or to sit back, be scared, and cower in fear. That choice is the difference between being stuck in your ways and getting better and improving yourself. Something that really helps is self-reflection. So let's say next time you're in a heavy situation, if you ask yourself what you can do in that moment and what can you control instead of why is this happening to me, or what did I do to deserve this, you will be in a completely different spot. That one mindset shift might not only change the trajectory of that moment, but of whatever happens next as well. For the next few minutes, I want to talk daily influences on mindset. Whether it's social media, people around you, or what you choose to consume in general, you hold all the power. Now, for example, let's go to social media to start. On social media, you have the option to see whatever you want. Now, I know some algorithms feed annoying stuff and things that nobody wants to see, but at the end of the day, you and your For You pages, they're for you. You curate them the way you want to. Have you ever spent, let's say, 10-15 minutes of looking at one thing, let's say food videos, for example? The next time you open or you refresh your app, it's all food videos, because that is what you told the algorithm you want to see. And that's how it works. So if you're liking videos that have all these negative undertones, that's what your feed is going to be, and you lose control of that, and that's all you start to see, and that's what you start feeding your mind. If you also have people in your life who are very pessimistic, you're going to be pessimistic, and that's going to have an effect on your mindset. So instead of doing that, be mindful when you're scrolling, be mindful when you're on social media. Make the algorithm show you positivity. Follow motivation tags, follow inspiration, follow things that you want to see that's going to help you become a better person at the end of the day, that's going to improve your mindset, that's going to improve your life and your mentality overall. When you do that, not only do you force the algorithm to feed you positivity, now your mindset's also forced to bleed and believe positivity as well. The people around you also play a major factor in your mindset. If you have negativity all around you from the people closest to you, it's going to be hard for you to have a different mindset than the others around you, because no matter what age you are, the company you decide to keep influence you. You're only as good as the people you keep around, which is why it's so important to have a good circle around you. People who are process oriented, people who are dedicated, people who have goals, people who are driven, people who have good habits. When you surround yourself with those types of people, you don't lose. Regardless of how you look at it, you are in full control of the way your mindset works. If you're feeding yourself positivity at all times, no matter how hard life gets, things will remain positive. Even if you do slip up in moments, but you return back to that positivity, things will remain positive. If you're doing the opposite, if you're feeding yourself negativity, if you're surrounded by negativity, you are naturally going to be negative. You're going to have those negative thoughts, those negative ideas, and just negativity in your life overall. So if you're looking to change the trajectory of your life, reevaluate the things that you are consuming, whether it's social media, your friends, your family, whatever. Reevaluate what those outlets are feeding you, and if it is negativity, readjust and move forward from there. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. It's never too late to change your mentality. Every single day, every single minute, every single moment, you have a choice to change the way things are going. Now, we're almost at the end of the video, and one thing I really want to touch on before we get to the end is how to build mental resilience. When it comes to mental resilience, what's really important is knowing the techniques to help you in moments where you feel like you're slipping or you don't know what to do. Now, the three key ones that I've learned and I know other people use is meditation. So many people use meditation to center themselves, and it doesn't matter necessarily when you do it, but that you do it. I'm somebody that doesn't really meditate, and instead what I do is just kind of reevaluate a moment or whatever's happening if I feel like I have to in my head just for a few minutes. I don't really close my eyes, sit back, etc., but that is a very efficient way to meditate. Instead, I just reflect on the moment, I take the time for that moment, and then I reset from there, or I go from there. Another thing that is really important for mindfulness, I believe, is writing down your goals, writing down what you're feeling. Writing stuff down every day to reaffirm that you're gonna get what you want is so crucial, and it's such an easy way to find success. Not only do you have to write it down, but you really have to believe in what you're writing down. So my advice to anybody watching right now that doesn't write stuff down, write the things that you want down, but make sure you truly believe in it. If you don't believe in it, do not write it down, because not only will your mind not believe it, but the world, the universe, the energy that you have is not gonna believe it either. Regardless of whatever is happening, it's so important to feed yourself positivity, 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 because that does make the difference between someone who has negative patterns in their life versus someone who has positive patterns in their life. Feeding yourself positivity is one of the most important things you can do. Feeding yourself any type of positivity makes the difference. Mindset and identity are intertwined. If you have a positive mindset, you're going to see yourself in a positive light, and vice versa applies as well. Mentality and identity also affect what you decide to pursue in your life. The thing about mindset is it isn't just about how you think, it's about who you are and who you're becoming. The way you see yourself is the catalyst for everything else that happens in your life. I've reiterated that in the last maybe 3 or 4 episodes. It all starts with you. It all starts with the way you think, the way you see yourself, and the way you feel about yourself. If you see yourself as someone who quits when things get hard, no matter what, you're always gonna find a way to quit and give up. If you believe you're not a morning person, if you believe you can't go to the gym, if you believe you're not a leader, if you believe discipline doesn't exist within you, you're always going to prove those things to yourself and anybody else that's around you. If you're looking for consistency, just start being consistent. It's as simple as just doing the thing. If you want to be consistent, start being consistent. Set something, say you're gonna do something, and do that thing for 7 days straight. Then once that 7 days over, do it for another 7 days. Then once that 7 days over, do it for another 7 days. Eventually it becomes natural, it becomes second nature. But it starts with just doing the thing, and that's the most important part. Just do the thing. The moment you're able to back yourself up and show up for yourself, you and your mind are going to do the same, regardless of wherever it applies to. And that is how you improve. That's how you use your mentality to identify your identity and how you eventually become the best version of yourself over time. Be intentional about whatever that identity is. Lead with intention. Do things with intention. Then go about it with action. Don't just talk about it, be about it. One of my pet peeves is when people say they're gonna do something and they don't do it. It's so stupid and it's so annoying. It's a waste of time and energy for this person that's hearing it, and also just for the person that's saying these things and do nothing about it. Don't be that person. That's how you build momentum. That's how things change, and that's how you improve overall. That's really all I got on mindset for y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping back in again. We're coming to the end of season 3 for Always Undeniable. There's about 2 episodes left, or 3 episodes left. This is episode 9, so 3 episodes left. Make sure y'all tap in for the last 3. Make sure y'all go back, as I said before, tap in with other episodes if you haven't already. Stay in tune with me on social media. I post every single day on social media. But yeah, until the next one, stay blessed, stay positive, stay motivated. This has been Always Undeniable.